So welcome to today's Zoom about the magical space of creation, one of the topics I like a lot. My name is Lisen and I work as a coach. I work with a lot of different things. I have you could say two businesses. I buy and sell jewelry, so I have a jewelry business, and then I work with self-development, coaching, leadership, and I've done that for almost 20 years. And it's been, of course, a inner progress for myself too, because I work with myself a lot. I myself had a session today, so I've been going a bit deeper into my own life and exploring things. And I felt that this was a really great choice of doing that today. I didn't think about it before, but I was like, wow, I get to get deeper into my own creation and choices. So I get also to share that with you guys. Um, and again, if there's anything you don't understand when I'm talking about something, because I don't expect it, I'm going to try to explain the most things. But as we're going into I love talking about creation with energies as well. And sometimes that's not as easy to comprehend with our brain. So if there's something that's very unclear, please let me know, because then I can bring it up in a different way or talk to it with different words and things like that. And I started coaching many years ago. I think it's over 20 years ago. And I came from being very brainy from Germany and thinking about everything, getting everything in correct, right answers, and a lot from my brain and with a lot of judgments, of course, because I learned that very well, to have the right answer, the right conclusion, and all of that. What I also noticed that it didn't work with myself so well. I wasn't as happy as I could be. So I started being curious about how these things work together. And at the same time, my mom was sick. So I was also looking for solutions for her, what I thought I could help with, what I didn't know that she needed to do her own journey. So I was very willing to find things. So I went on journeys to India, Ayurveda, did a lot of different things. Also went into all the spirituality world, did a lot of meditation, inner work, and it was great. And all of like everything is like a puzzle. You'd have a next puzzle piece. Uh, Inner peace is a really good thing while you have these pieces of your puzzle. But I also noticed there was a lot of things that I know on a different level, but I can't understand it with my brain. And that I got very curious. I even started when I was 16. I remember in the boarding school saying to myself, I really want to understand the world of energies, the things that we kind of grasp. There's a sense of that it exists. You go into a room and you can feel there's something going on with people. Why is that world not as clear as my mug of tea? Like that was what I was going through when I was growing up. Why is that? Because I could sense things. I love animals. It's been a lot of these things that have been very open to me. But of course, you couldn't talk to everybody about it. Some things were people a little bit more open once, and why not? But it became a journey that I started early and then intensified along the way, especially also when you have a mother that never gets the help of anybody, of the doctors. Like, what else is there out in the world? But I got to see that it had to do a lot of side in me. So I started that journey, and that became everything from NLP to coaching to mindfulness to yoga to going to India. I've had two Indian gurus. I've when I look at it, I've done a lot of things, and these have been amazing to get to know myself. And then have been things that they're great for a couple of years, and then you move on and you get to know more, and the capacities grow, the knowledge grows. I also was an access conscious for many, many years, learned a little amazing tools. So everything grows. And what I really love is the world that we cannot really put into concrete scientifically. Well, there's science coming along, but you know what I mean. When I say things about energy, people are like, they wonder what I'm talking about. Or as I like the things, and for me, they're very in me clear. Sometimes people wonder if it's true what she's saying or is she joking? Yes, that's my world. But I don't mind because I know what's true for me. And it grows every day. As I started my journey working with animals, especially I had a dog that was very, very clear, energetic, I got to learn more things. And then working with horses, these big animals, they're very energetic. They perceive things, they know things, they give you the information, I would say up in your face to be clear what you know. And that's one of my, I would say, I love those trainings a lot because it's a leadership training um, that you don't get anywhere else, working with horses and doing things with horses. And I just love that. So that's been a world for me that you get so many pieces and you come to something that really is your core. And what I like working with is finding people's strengths, their capacities, their abilities. And this is not like your ability with math or science, all that, that as well. But I also work with a lot of people that work with people. So they do a lot of inner work. And I know everybody's quite filled with abilities and capacities and are really good at things. But sometimes our brain is in the way, or you might know that you judge yourself too much. You wake up and you find the wrong things instead of the right things with you, if I want to express, or you just find something to judge. Something is weird or wrong with you. And it's not. But we have kind of been trained to be negative. We have been trained to find more the problem things than the possibility things. And that's one thing I'm like, why is that so intense in our world? And then there's a lot of whys, but it's up to us, every person, to find the way you would like to live, how you would like to live your life. And that is something, not only mindset, it's an energy, it's maybe also a belief, depending how you state things. When I work with people, for me, I listen to my awareness, I listen to my heart, I listen to my intuition, I listen to everything that is there. And it's an energy world as well. And for a lot of people, that's weird when I say that. It's also weird when I say sometimes, like, my best business partner is the universe, and people like, that's weird. I'm like, yes, but it's not for me. And you could say anything. It's like if you get really good at listening to your intuition, that's amazing. But the things that we doubt so much is often where there's really good things, like there's abilities, there's things that will guide you in a way that if we would listen, our lives would go easier. It would maybe go quicker. And you would hear, oh, you're very lucky. Yeah, but you're listening to the whispers that are there all the time. But they go like, and you have to trust them. I know how many times I do not trust my awareness. I do not trust my intuition. I do not trust these whispers that come with a lot of information. Throughout the years, I started getting, here's the information I'm asking for. So either I have the courage to choose it and to fail. I think that's one of the components that's very interesting. I'm willing to fail and not know or not be right. And by that choice, the more I listen and choose the action that the information is giving me, or at least the information it's giving, and then I can take action, the more it's almost like opens up to more of that information. And working with animals, I can say, is one of my best practice, almost like I would also say teachers, because they are very patient and they keep on giving you all the information and tools, very persistent also with you, and then you kind of get it. And it's a very intuition based or telepathic communication or energetic communication. And I could say I'm well trained by my prior dog. Like, she was one of my best trainers in energy. So I'm really grateful for that. And then I went over working with more with horses. Amazing. I get to do seminars all over the world with horses, for example, and I don't know them before. I usually just say hi to them before I meet them. And then we do things together because the connection you can create and the awareness, and also knowing where is the stop where you're like, you leave that horse alone. She doesn't want to do anything more. That's also having integrity and building that trust for the energy, the information that is there. That's why I called it the magical space of creation. Magic is, for me, the world that is there. It's here for everybody. It's magical. It's amazing. It's absolutely supporting us every day. But if you look through your brain, how can you define that? How can you explain that? You can and you cannot. And then I'm just phrasing, because a lot of people will often, if you say something that is not in their world or not, they're not used to it, you make you wrong. You might not want to upset them, or you will start diminishing yourself or shutting down that door. I've done that many, many times. Or you go through pain, trauma, deaths. I remember the process or the whole My dad had 4 years of cancer. After the first 2 years, the doctors were like saying that he was well again. He was never really well. My dog dies, and then we have another 2 years of cancer. I did not get to grieve my dog first, the first time directly afterwards. I shut the door to that. And that became a barrier. So I was also keeping things on a distance. Like I've done a lot of things that are not very good for me, but it was a coping mechanism. We all have that. It's nothing weird, it's nothing strange. But then when there's time to heal, when there's time to go deeper, when it's time to let go, that's when you start again building your trust, starting to let down your guard, allowing possibilities into your world, allowing caring, nurturing, contribution. And I know the world is here to contribute to us. When I say the world, I don't mean that every country, every person is here for you. I mean the energy of being on this planet, that there is something. I believe in the universe. I believe in energy, that it is here. I believe in so many beautiful things. It doesn't mean that the world is going to be perfect. No, it doesn't mean that my life is going to be perfect, but I do trust that I have a support and contribution from energies around me. And that can show up as people, animals, a tree. I have a friend that loves trees, a lot of friends, but today I was talking to her, and as for me, it's animals, people, just everything around me. But if I don't allow it, how should I even know that it exists? If I don't ask for it, if I only go through my brain figuring out the world, I mean, a lot of people, so many people are going through transformation and change at the moment. They're looking for something different. They might be letting go of a job, changing living, getting out of a relationship, wanting into a relationship. Like there's transformation going on more than I'm impressed by the conversations I'm having because people really like, I, some people have a really good life, but they also know they want more. It's like, it's a little bit too much of a routine or hamster wheel. It's not that it's bad. It's just like, there's other possibilities. And this is where I love going into whatever you want to change. If it is a physical thing, energetic thing, feeling, job, there's like the components of it. It's like, there's everything. When I look at where I would like to head, if we're going to go into examples and I might jump around a little bit and you can, of course, ask more questions about the areas that I'm talking about. Today, I want to give a little bit of inspiration how to use things to create more magic energy and co-create with energies. I will be doing some online seminars maybe in November, December-ish. I'm going to Costa Rica, and it's a place that has a lot of magic for me. So I was looking at these things. Would I like to invite people on this journey? And it's starting to land what I would like to create with it. And that's what I was like, I want to have a conversation about this more openly with people because I know in us, there's a lot of things that are asking for more, but it's not necessarily like, yes, you can ask for more money. That it's not necessarily you want a bigger car, bigger house. That can be included, but I hear a lot of more wanting really to connect with themselves, want to be happier, want to be more in this world or nature, whatever that is, or in a better relationship. Like it's interesting to see people moving, and there's an essence that is very similar, but they're asking for very different things. And that's where I'm like, oh, this essence is it's triggering me even to voice more about it. Not meaning that I have an answer or the way to do it. For me, when I'm talking about this today, it's just inspiring from where I am. That does not mean this is the right way or this is the way to do things. Absolutely not. It works for me, but you have to also be willing to look how it could work for you. So the inspiration, if I say something, if I use the word universe or intuition or gut feeling, don't get hanged up by the word because we're trained with different words, like what's the right word and all that, depending on our surrounding and what we have been taught. And that's why I jump around a little bit with words, because if we get on hang up, we stop receiving. And if you can just, okay, she's just using this word, I don't like it, then use the word you like, because you can get to more inspiration. And this was I loved listening to a lot of people. Then I filter like, okay, that's not the area I'm looking at. But here's some information and inspiration that gets me going. then I take that with me. And that's the beautiful thing. Like I can get inspiration from almost anybody or anything because there's an essence in them. There's something they can contribute to my world. And I love that and like being inspired. I like to also evolve. I like to get to know more things. And I want to reach things. I want to create things and more. And I also know there's a whole, like an energy world that just wants to contribute to me. When I use my brain to figure out everything, that's when I'm going to be in the same path that I am in. Usually, even if it works, I have been really good at creating for my brain. Um, but at some point, I noticed this is hard work. This could be so much easier. And then I'm like, I don't have to stop using my brain. Definitely not. And it's good in this world. But I can add components and things that make more ease, more joy. We have a little funny expression on Swedish where you I think it's glide in on a shrimp sandwich. Something like that. Or my brain sometimes have a problem translating from every language. But we have expressions. But why wouldn't I create that energy? So if you get aware it's a possibility, go for that energy and start creating, okay, if the world would be like that, how could I create that? What would be possible for me just to explore things? So if I want a new job or I want a partner or I want to travel the world or I just want to have more ease, I get to choose. One of the things, like one thing that we do have to be aware of, we need to choose something. It doesn't mean that I need to know the how. The how is not the first thing. Before, like my old version of me, I would only choose the things I knew how to create. If I could figure out the way that would what I think would work, then I would go for it. That would be my one. Like, yes, I'm smart enough. I can make that work. Now it's like, if I don't know how to do it, great. That's going to be fun because then I get to use my talents and abilities to create it, but I don't need to know the how. If I'm aware of an energy, it can be the travel, it can be the job, it could be partner, it could be whatever it is. If I get the sense of that energy, like for example, if I want a job, then I look, what is the components of this job? It doesn't mean, oh, with this company, da, 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 da. No, 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 no. I look, okay, I want to have fun. I want to be inspired. I want to be challenged. I want da, 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 da. And look at the energy of it or how I would be feeling or how it would be for me in a job like that. I want to work with a team, da, 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 da. Then, of course, you can go and look for the companies that do that. But sometimes the job you want or the energy of the job you want or the business you want to create is not necessarily defined in the way you think it should be. That's why if you look at the things that it entails, you might find it easier than trying to figure out where it is. And that also helps often being more open-minded. And then I add questions. We're coming to the question part soon, but I do want to the path, the creation, also in energetic is also looking at things, looking, and if you have very clear, I want to work for this company, it's good. Then you have to just be aware if that's going to work, and then we can go with other questions. But be clear with something, but you don't have to have it mentally cleared the result. Just the direction, the energy of it, even how it maybe will feel when you're there. It doesn't have to be the result of it. You do have to choose if you want to have it in your life. That means, for me, it means being committed to creating that. And for me, committed to be creating is like I am part of this creation, even if the job is being offered or it's traveling around the world, whatever. I have to be willing to be committed. That means I'm not starting to doubt it. I'm not going to be saying negative things about it. I mean, I love when I hear people saying, no, that doesn't work. It's hard. I don't have time. I cannot do it. I'm like, that's basically just shutting the door in your face. Or you start doubting, you don't try to express it so clearly because then you might not feel disappointed. Don't try to avoid disappointments, but also, yes, if you have lots of expectations because you have figured out the exact right thing for you, then the disappointments are like almost attached underneath it. It will wait until it doesn't work out. And here you get the disappointments because you have already designed the right life. Get the energy, get the sense of things that you would like to experience and live, and be committed to that. Because the path is never straight. It's not like a straight autobahn and ordered like we have it beautifully in Germany. And it doesn't even work there. But you know what I mean? This order thing, we think if we just do the right step, it will be the right result. I can say it's often. And the fun part with all these things is here's a lot of experience, here's a lot of information. There's also a lot of contribution around the world that we don't know, but it's rarely very straight. And our heads want it so clearly. And I'm going to use another word, control. We want to control to avoid disappointment or to avoid failure. So we want to control our creations too. And then I'm like, good luck controlling the universe. Good luck controlling nature. Good luck controlling everything that wants to contribute to you. That's the harder part. But I can tell you, a control person is very good at controlling. So they will almost be convinced I can do that. They will almost feel challenged if I say things like that. And I was like, well, have fun with it. I'm going to go a different way where I have a little bit more ease, a little bit more joy, and I'm not going to work that hard, but I'm going to allow the universe to contribute to me. And we're going to co-create. For me, like that's why I say my best business partner is the universe, because then I have a lot more ease. I have a lot more joy. And one thing that works for me, I receive information in my creations. That's why I'm not fixated, like it has to be this. But as long as there's an energy, I will be committed to this, whatever that is, to my cup of tea. But then along the way, there's another one showing up. Wait a second. It does not mean that I'm letting go of my commitment, but my commitment and my energy can change along the way. One thing, example for me is restaurants. I love great food. Maybe you know that of me. I love going to great restaurants around the whole world. If I, for example, would say, this is an example I do when it comes to creation, where I understood that creation is very different than just reaching the right result. So if I'm sitting here and I'm getting hungry, let's not create that now. But if I would be getting hungry, I was like, oh, where can I go and eat tonight? What would I like to eat? And then I would just ask a question, where can I go? What's open? Where to get the most delicious food today? Because of course I'll come from conclusions from what I've experienced the other days. But then I will just like, I get an energy on that restaurant. Okay, let's get our things together. And then I start walking in the direction of the restaurant. And what happens? Not always, but it does happen more often than I've encountered. It's very surprising. But then at some point, I just walk past by a restaurant. I look in there, and my whole body like, yes. And I was like, what was that? Shit. You want to go in there? Because then I talked to my body and asked, you want to eat there? It was just gets excited. It gets happy. I mean, when I had my dog, she would stop and like look at the door here. And I was like, are you sure? We're going there. No, we're going in here. I'm like, okay. Now it's on my own. But me and my dog did things like that together a lot. And I learned a lot being in the question, even if I have a plan and I'm going to this Italian restaurant on the corner, and on the way I'm get a different, wait a second, here's an energy. And I get excited. I'm like, okay, let's try this. I haven't failed at all. I've listened to get myself into action, to get myself into movement, to get to a restaurant. We often have this thing, this is the right one for me today, because and you'll hear your because, blah, 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 blah. It was so good last time. They were so delicious. And I really want this food, la, 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 la. That's where you start building up a result in your mind. And then it's sometimes really hard to hear the information that's coming along that could create it greater for you. It's co-creating with you. And sometimes you're like, la, 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 I don't want to hear because too much information. And then I have to ask a question again, and then I have to listen to that, and then I have to, ugh. But if you do listen, you will get these clarities. You will get like even a greater experience. I don't know how many times I've stopped and chosen a restaurant and I sit there and I'm like, oh, thank God I went in here. It could be the service that's freaking amazing. You have a really amazing experience and they make the crazy food for you and they're so kind and you're like, this was awesome. I hope the other restaurants also having a good time. Like this is this is the example how it works in my life. I am committed to a thing, but along the way, if it matches the energy that I'm creating, I do take in the information. It can be that I'm choosing it today. It could be that I choose it later. That's why it's for me, like you could say, it's following the energy, but I'm also aware that I'm creating that. And I have to be willing to be in the question. That means being curious of what else could show up here. So not being fixated and like, I'm not listening, I already have my right answer. This is how it is. It's hard. This is going to be the right thing and da 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 da. So you have to be willing to listen to your voice, to your energy. The voice can come from inspiration. It can come from your body. It can come from wisdom. It can come from a friend that tells you. I don't know how many times I've had people that I talk to that they give me information that I'm asking for. And I'm like, this is really cool. I don't even have to do so much work. People just call me and let me know things. And I'm like, they don't even know they're coming with information. That's a beautiful thing. This is for me the co-creation, to be open, to have more ease, to be open, to have the freedom of choice, to be open to allow things to contribute and care for you. I believe we're here on the planet together. And the together is this co-creation, co-contribution, kindness, inspiration, supporting each other. The session I had this morning, it was really amazing. The first thing he says to me, he was like, what if we all knew our inner strengths and our capacity and abilities, and we would support each other's capacities, abilities, and strengths? And I was like, yeah, there would be no competition and there wouldn't be jealousy and there wouldn't be so much upset, intrigues, drama, and trauma. That would be really cool. And that's something I do believe in, and I do want to go more with that. But I also see the world's not always like that. And it's not like I'm trying to create a fairy tale or anything like that. But I do want to inspire and contribute to people finding their inner strength, finding their abilities, trusting them. What if you trusted them 100%? That doesn't mean you have to be right or it will never be wrong. But you don't have to go from morning to evening doubting, being insecure, and trying to analyze everything. Use your brain where it's required. Use energy where it will support you and create greater. You allow the world to be there. Allow the world to, hey, voila, my lady. And that's the beautiful thing, the co-creation with the world. It's there also for you, but I have to be willing to challenge that with myself. And I don't know if you've noticed, when you start caring more for you, loving yourself more, receiving yourself, it's way easier to receive the contribution from everything or everybody around you yourself. So the more you care for you, the easier it is to receive everything around you. And that's a beautiful thing. And I think most of us know that. But I also notice there's no end to this. There's not like, here it's, I reached it. Now I'm done. You can go deeper and deeper and deeper and more connected. So one thing I see when I work with animals or seminars with horses or dogs with people, I see there's so many layers of being connected to the universe, being connected to the world, being connected to nature. I love doing retreats, especially in a place in Spain. We'll be doing one next year. It's calling all the time. I'm like, it just hasn't been the time for it. But now it's like so alive because the nature there, especially it's nature is very alive. The animals are very, everything co-creates. So when I ask questions there, it's just like, I was like, wow. And that is sometimes I feel like we need a little bit accelerators where it's shown very clearly how it works. And for me, like Bali and Costa Rica also have that energy, places in Portugal, and every person has different of these energies. You don't have to live there. Sometimes we just want to be there for a while, but you want to reconnect with yourself. We can connect with ourselves at home too, and with nature. I do think sometimes we just need a little bit more nature because it is tougher with the cities and all of that, with all the information we receive, and a lot of people are not doing well, and you also perceive that and feel that. And when you talk to people, a lot of people are very negative and have a hard time. And then there's also people that are super happy and just joyful and want to contribute. And you have to choose what works for you and how you'd like to create and how you find the trust as well, and how you can get more contribution. So you listen to yourself. So you also are willing to stand and know your abilities, know your strengths. I guess it like from coaching, I don't know, a lot of people, we almost diminish, we almost don't want to see what our inner strengths are. We always look at things that other people are doing and would like to have that. So the things that you're really good at don't have as much value. That's a generalization that I see. So we want to know more. We want to learn more. We want to learn, and there's nothing wrong. Please do that as much as you like. But there's some abilities, some strengths you have that other people do not have. Some things that are super easy for you, but that you're really good at. You don't think you ever can make money on them. And some you will not, it's not going to be the purpose of it to make money on it. Some things can contribute to your business, to your job extremely a lot, but you will not believe in it. You will not even think that's relevant. It's something I do in my spare time. And I was like, there's an extreme strength and ability in that. But when we make it smaller, we don't listen to that. We don't allow it to contribute in our whole life. And that's something I'm seeing a lot more when you get to that point. It has a strength. It also has a grounded energy in it. And it's really potent. And it also, when you are in that, for example, in your business or in your creations, for me, there's no difference. Sometimes I will say business and sometimes just say creations, because for me, everybody has a business in some kind of way, because you are selling your time. If you have a job, you're still selling your time. Your salary is just coming in a different way, employed or having your own business. It's just a bit different, but you're still selling your time. And then if some businesses you're not selling your time, but still time is involved. So it's like, and some people really love being employed and it suits them very well. Some people not. And this is where like, don't make yourself wrong for anything. And sometimes it's really, what I also see the cycles in life, there is phases in life, certain way of living and working is absolutely best contribution. And then it changes. We sometimes try to find the right way. And this is how it's going to be instead of like, I'm in a new phase, let's change and shift this. And we hold on to things and that's okay. It's all our process. I mean, most parents will have some kind of transition time when the kids are flying out of the nest. It's normal. Same normal and things that will show up when you give birth and you have a kid, you'll get some programs. You're going to react different. You're going to have scarcities. You're going to have a lot of things. It just comes along. Here, you're welcome. It's your new package. And I'm joking about it, but it's not always easy. That's where also in those phases where there is bigger transformations, that's where you can grow immensely and your capacities and your strengths, if you're willing to embody them and be them more, oh my God. The thing is, they'll challenge you the most and they'll gift you the most. It's a bit weird, the opposites of them, but they're usually components that are challenging on both sides, but extremely contribution to your life as well. So let's look at something you want to create. So if you have any questions, just feel free to interrupt at any time as you like. And if there's anything you need to translate, also let me know that. Let me drink a little tea. So if you're like, if you want to create something, usually we're often a little bit insecure. We doubt it. That's fine. We do that. It's not very helpful, but we do it. So, what would you guys like to create? Any ideas? Anything I can work with that I can? Any ideas? I just want to grab something and go with it. So if you want to do a job, you want some more money, you want your business to evolve, what would you like? What can we work with? So take one thing, more money flowing in. Great. Cool. There's a little bit different aspects if you're employed or you have your own business, but there are similarities. There's similarities. We might have more. No, blah, blah. My brain is going. So in general, with money flows, I'm self-employed. Yeah, Polly Bateman. Sorry, I love Polly Batman. I love the name. That was not correct. Sorry, Polly. Money flows, self-employed. But the money flows even when you're employed. It's very interesting. If you look at your own, just like one question to ask clients with money flows, what are the typical money flows you have in your life already? What are the money flows you think are easy to have? What are the ones you know from this reality? Like, for example, most people have this assumption money flows comes from employment or from your clients. It can come from maybe winning the lottery. It can come from inheritance. It comes from friends. It comes from, well, money flow, maybe I was like, you find it on the street, but it might not be a flow, or you do that. But we have some things that are already like we have an imagination, and we also see in the world how money flows, or you do a great investment, or you have stocks, or you da 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 da. So we have certain paths that we know this is the money flows that are real for me. They're great, but that's for me just a starting point. There's a lot more money flows, but this is the funny part that I challenge people, is the control you have about your inflow of money. It's so funny, but this I almost see with everybody. But let's go with increasing money flows. So then I would look at everything I already decided how money comes into my life today. So I look at that and see, okay, is there any limitation in my belief system or in what I know about the money flows that are in my life? Usually it's a yes. We could see limitations. We can maybe see that I have decided these are the right ones. Then often people have decided how I can increase my money flows or my investments, or this is where, depending where you're alive, some people have money, some have a little bit, some a little bit more, and some people have a lot more. But most people still have some dominant decisions about where money will flow in from. So if I have my own business and I'm working with clients, my business will grow more when I have more clients. So we often already have the solutions and the conclusions and projections how I can increase that. It's a good start. But then if I would look at, where else could money come from? Would I allow money to show up from anywhere? What if money would like to care for me and show up in spontaneous ways? I told a friend of mine a while ago, she called me and told me then afterwards, Lisa, I asked the same question. It was crazy. I told her, this is years ago, I asked my business to be more out of control, and I would not know where the money came in from. It was just, I got curious. What if there was so much money flowing in from so many directions that I wouldn't even know where the money came from? That was just a curious question. How would that be? I love exploring things that have no idea how they feel, how they are. And I can tell you, it didn't take a long time. I was sitting with my bookkeeping. I had no idea. There was two things coming, and it was good months. I remember the second month sitting there on the floor with all the paper. And I was like, where the heck did this money come from? And there was two statements. I had no idea. I was looking through all my systems because I'm really good at tracking systems where money and my clients and and I had a lot of them going around. I had no idea. I couldn't figure it out. Even call the bank, they couldn't tell me, blah, blah, blah. And I was sitting there like, silly me. And I was like, my accountant will not be happy and not thrilled me saying that. So I invented invoices. I invented two invoices. And I was sitting there, well, best thing I can do. Let's take somebody. I had to figure out. It was something I had to figure out if it was in within Europe or not, and things like that. It was funny. I was like, well. I mean, the tax system in Sweden will still be happy because I'm taxing it. But that's when I'm like, I felt out of control. And then I laughed. That was exactly what you asked for, Lisa. So I told my friend this, and then she calls me now and she says, I tried it. It happened. It was crazy. And I had already given her a story, so she was going a little bit in that direction. But I was like, why not? And then she figured out more questions to ask to be more out of control in some other areas. And it's starting to grow her business. And I was like, that's easy. So are you willing to be out of control, receiving money? Just a question to ask. And this is where the question sounds so simple, sounds maybe even stupid, sounds even like, why wouldn't you want to control it? Why would you not allow it to be out of control? The thing is, when you're starting to ask questions to open up possibilities, things will show up in a very different way. And you can ask, like, hey, what would it take for money to show up in a different way? What would it take my job to show up in ways I'm not used to? So if you, like, for example, are looking for a new job, you will know in your system, in your country, where you apply, or headhunters, or whatever. Universe, show me where I can go. Who can I talk to? What's possible? Show me a job that would be super exciting. That's how I start talking. I start asking, but I also start talking. So talking as it's my best friend. Hey, it's my best business partner. Hello, I'm going to talk to them. We're going to have a meeting and talk about it. That's for me a space of creation. It's not logical. It's not, but I can tell you the invitation you can be to the creation on different levels is freaking amazing. Some people will think I'm talking rubbish, bullshit, it doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. That's okay. I like it. It works for me. I'm having fun. So what's the wrongness of doing it? And things show up in ways where I'm like, this was easy. I start asking a question. I go on Facebook. Okay, thank you for that. That was exactly what I was looking for. It can be ease. But if I would be my German self from another lifetime that I was in this lifetime, I would have to figure it out. I would have to be smart. I would have to do the right conclusions. I would have to talk to the right people. I would have to find the right system. I would have to use my smart brain. I'm not going to avoid using my smart. I love creating things and using my brain, but why not include more ease, more joy, more surprises, and being freaking lucky all the time? At least other people will say you're lucky. And I was like, yes, thank you. I love creating that. I love creating my luck. Are you? Or do you? I've seen this happen now. I think about it with someone else, but now I can bring this to myself. Great question. Did it work? Oh, sorry. I don't know which one was what. I can say almost all questions work, but your brain will most likely have figured out some kind of answer to that question, but then it will not show up that way. So this is the thing is, are you willing to be surprised? So this is the fun part of the life. And sometimes I'm not, but hey, let's do it. I also see that the universe matches my energy very often, and I can be quite intense, bubbly, lots of energy. So sometimes it's like, oh, that was a lot of energy, but hey, they're not gonna deliver it in a soft, smooth way because I am not that. So it matches often where you are, but not in a horrible way, but not always in the linear way. So I talked to one person that gives the next thing da 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 da. Example like upgrades in hotels. Sometimes I really want a delicious room, but I didn't book it. And then when I show up, there's something wrong with the room, and they're like, "Sorry, sorry, sorry," and they're like, "Oh, there's the upgrade." I do not settle with a room I don't like. So if I come to a hotel room and there might be something I don't like, I'll go to the reception and it will be uncomfortable, but I get the room I would like. I'm persistent but very nice, kind, and apologetic, and they often just want to take care of me. So I'm also willing to gift myself the best possibility, but I won't try to do it in a fighting hard way. I'm not here to fight with people. I've done that enough. Check. I know how to do that. I know how to be a bulldozer. I've done that with stars. I've done it really well. But then at some point, like, why fight that hard when there's a different version of this? Why not allow a space of creation to be there, contributing to everything? So it doesn't matter how physical things like I would like more money or money flows. What money flows am I avoiding today? Universe, surprise me or show me new ways of generating money that I don't know about. So I would start asking. So, universe, show me new ways. Show me where there is a different way of generating money. And I keep on asking every day. And I might avoid some of the things that are coming up because it doesn't match me or something. Sometimes they don't match directly, but if you go the way, you'll see the next two steps. So sometimes I feel that the universe disguises it. So it shows me if I'm willing to trust or not. And sometimes it's just like, oh, thank you. That was a great idea. Next one. I want another one. So this is where you have to play with it. Don't make it so serious. So when I look at, for me, the world is energetic. And I've been looking at that since I very clearly, consciously since
Excuse me, Lisen. May I interrupt because I really have a question to
yes,
this. Is that
yes,
okay? Yeah.
please.
Because if you ask the question and everything,
Yeah.
I always think, okay, how can I hold the space in sort of in a good energy with good frequency so that it can that I allow it to happen. If you're frustrated or not in a good place or whatever, and
Yeah.
then you ask the questions, it's like, oh gosh, how can I keep up the nice energy for it? And then I don't know, you go down the hill again and stuff like that. So how does it feel? How does it feel? What is the inner capacity, attention, intention, or something, how to hold the space. I
Mhm.
don't know if that makes sense what I'm asking.
Oh, it does make sense. And it's a little bit hard work because you cannot hold the space. The creation will occur. It's more, am I willing to be there when it shows up? So I understand exactly what you mean because you can definitely destroy creation too. If you like, oh, I want to create traveling around the world, or I want to go whatever. There is often the sense, oh, thank you for the component. There is often a sense of future, and then we want to be positive or have an energy that creates that future as well. So what I do in a creation has so many components. So I literally will need a little bit more time. And I'm going to go into this in more in other seminars where I want to work with you in more deepening in this. So this is super clear in your energy. But I'll give you some components. You go to the future of your creation, perceive that. Like you look at, oh, I want to go to, God, I have so many things that I'm creating at the moment. Um, so I knew I wanted to go to Costa Rica, for example. I knew it. There was an energy. And then, of course, I have some investments there and blah, blah, blah. But that was like, I didn't go for years. So it wasn't like this thing. But it kept upon me. Should I go to Costa Rica? Yes, there's an energy. Okay, there's an energy. I didn't want to go on my own. It was just, and I traveled the world on my own. I was like, no, I want to go with somebody. And I kept on like, I just kept on asking and looking at the energy. For me, looking at it is connecting with the idea. So I looked at Costa Rica. Do I still want to go? Yes. It feels exciting, and I don't know how, and I didn't know the how at all. So I would say keeping the energy is for me connecting with the idea, or connecting with the thought, or connecting with your dream, or connecting with it. So basically, you can write it down on a post-it and hang it up so you don't forget it. I have my creations almost like it's not a book, but they're in front of me, the creations that I'm active with. So I talk with them. They're like spheres, they're like energies. And this is where I've been working a lot with them. So they're alive with me. In the beginning, I need to put in a lot of energy. That means I have to think about it. I have to look, I have to be asking questions. I want to go. And then it clicks. And then there's steps along the way. And I talked to, like, for example, Costa Rica. I talked to several people that could be fun to travel with, and there was energy, and then it just lost it. I'm like, oh no, maybe I'm not going. And I just get like, and then I trust when they're like, am I going to Australia? Yeah, I want to go. So there's this thing where it keeps on connecting and it's joyful. But if I would say, oh no, I can't find anybody, oh, well, I can let it go. That's me stopping the possibilities. So in the pre-phase of a creation, it's more an idea phase. It's more like yummy, but if you forget it, it's not there because there's no substance into creation. The creation is moving of itself. It doesn't have its own energy. It's still you connecting with the creation. So in the beginning of the creation, it's like an idea phase. You still are the one putting in the energy, putting in the life in the creation. So you need to be attentive on that. So what I do then, if I'm a forgetful person or I forget the idea, I write it down and I make sure it's up. So I see it every day and I'm like, oh yeah, do you need something with me? Can I talk? Well, can I talk to anybody? So then I start asking questions. And for me, it's a lot connecting with. So I know creation is for me being connection with this world. So it's not sitting here and just asking questions, and I think somebody's going to ring on the doorbell. Sometimes it happens. It has happened once. A guy needing to, it was so funny because then I joked because he came up the balcony because he could climb up, and the other guy came down the door, and then they delivered information that I needed. But they were here, handymen working in the building. So it was nothing to do. But the conversation we had, it was about health and my dad, and they gave me a component. I was sitting there like, oh, the universe sometimes do deliver handyman with information in my apartment through my balcony. I laughed at it because it was just I keep on saying they don't just show up. They did. But usually for me, it's connecting with this world, being in action with this world. So when I then move forward with a creation, and at some point in this movement with Costa Rica, I talked to another person that I know and a friend, and she's just like, and everybody was very positive that I talked to, but it's just like almost like left the building after a while. And then there was one that says yes, and it just matched the energy, and I was like, let's get together and talk about this. And it matched the moments of our lives where we are in our lives, and she had the possibility to do it money wise, time wise, and it kept on just click click click, and then it was in motion. And I was like, this is cool. And then when we bought our tickets, it was very clear that we're going, huh? But it's still constantly in action, creating itself. But now there's an energy that we're building together, and that's beautiful. But in the beginning, we needed to make the effort. That's the thing. We need to make the effort for the creation to become like come into fruition. And in that moment, this is where I love working with my project or my creations, because they have an energy of its own where you can connect with it, where you can work with it. And this is where I can really gratefully say my animals have really helped me, because they are living creation with me. So if I don't interact, they don't always do it with me. Yes, if they want food or want to go out, yes. But the other parts where they showed me I can create business with a contribution from my dog. Like when I said that in the beginning, I was like, oh my God. And I said, yeah, show me how you're doing that. And I even asked her about money things. And I'm like, oh my God, she showed me things that were insane about money. And I was like, these are things I want to, and this is like, I want to, and this is where I'm like, the setting of the seminars I'm going to do, I don't have a clue, because I want to do them in a different way. But I also know there's a component of creation with the world, nature, everything. And there's a gift of the energy in Costa Rica. That's what I know at the moment. And I was like, I'm going to put this together and work with people, whoever wants to join. And the ones that don't want to join, I'm fine. But I want to work with more people that want to have this all aligned with them and have fun with it. Because there is how it works for you will be specifically for you. There's some, I would say there's some generic things that we can look at, but you will calibrate that so it works with your system and energy. And that is a beauty, but that's where you will become so clear in the creation for yourself and not doubt it. Yes, if you talk to others, you will start doubting them because they can be really harsh. People that don't understand and don't believe, they sometimes really want to say it in a harsh way of making you wrong. Just be aware of that. When I'm
Thank you so
start,
much.
hmm?
You gave me a huge puzzle piece. Thank you so much. That was always missing.
Which
And, and,
one?
and, and how to, yeah, it's amazing. And it's like, okay, there's another thing, like how to trust the universe. That's a little bit different and it's a bit
Yeah.
huge probably. Um, but I think to put the energy into the creation and talk to it, that will gain trust as well, I
Yes. And it's
guess.
practicing
Thank
as
you.
well. It's just practice, practice, practice. But I also like, so we often have trust in certain moments of creations. And then when our brain tries to figure out, we activate our distrust or our worries or our insecurities or doubts. And then we hear it from somebody else, and then it feeds that energy. My job is to stop that. It does not help. Doubt never helps my creation. No matter if I'm mental, if I only work from my brain or I work with energies, doubt will never support my creations. If I go to an interview for a job, will doubt be my best friend? We all know that will not be an energy. Please continue about when people come. Come what? Sorry, I'm now my brain is not working. But doubt does not work in any creation. Insecurity does not work. Judgments don't really work. We can have opinions. Yes, that's really good. Be clear. Even if people are like in an interview to get a job, people want your opinion as well. It's more when you come from a very narrow-minded judgment, that's not helpful. But if you don't have any opinion, that's not helpful either, because then they don't even know who you are. So you need to be aware what they would like to hear as well from an energy point of view. But also, they want people that are clear and secure in themselves as well and know that they can contribute to that business. So be aware of that. And you have abilities, and hopefully you are also at an interview that is suitable for you. And if it aligns, your capacity will be really good. And then you have the energy. That's again, that's where we can work. If you go to an interview, I have a lot of tools that you can play with. And that's the fun part. Know your facts, know your information, add all the energy and things to it. That's really magic. That's what the magical space of creation is, not letting go of all the smart things that your brain also can use. It's adding. Like, do you want to have more luck? Do you want to have more ease? It's all there. But our heads and our brains will, if it starts saying it's hard, it's gonna be hard. That's one of the things that I see with money. We have a lot of things that are in our way, definitely a lot of them. But if I start asking, hey, what are the money flows that I'm not seeing? Universe, show me them. Or am I willing to have more money than I've decided that I can have? Am I willing to play with money? Is money joyful in my universe? I had to play a lot with my relationship with money. I started looking like, how is my relationship with money? It sucked. When I looked at this, it's over 15 years ago, I realized I was a really, really bad friend to money. I had judgments, I had point of view, I had lack, I dismissed it, I avoided it, I didn't see it, I didn't care about it. I had basically just negative shit about it. Great for relationship. I was like, oh my God, I just suck at this. This is really tough to look. It was, and it was an inspiration also for my friend. I keep on saying this because I have a great friend, Jonas. We also were in a relationship together. But when I got to know, we were friends for 2 years before we had a relationship or got together involved. And I kept on hearing, he loves golf. He loves playing golf. And I kept on him hearing saying like, oh, I played really well. I thanked my golf clubs or whatever you say, and I kissed them. And this is a dude saying that in front of anybody. And I was like, and for me, it was not weird. It just was like, it was nice how he expressed it. And then when I was sitting there with, how's my relationship with money? And I hear his voice, how he talks about golf and how happy he is, and he thanks his golf things and da 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 da. And I was like, I don't do any of that with money. Oh, I think I'm really sucking in relationship with money. So that was one of my starting points. And I'm like, okay, how can I change this? How can I change my relationship with money? What actions can I do with money? And this is one area. So if there's any area you suck at being in a relationship with, and you have to be self-aware about this and look at it because you will have areas. I guarantee you, but you might not want to look at them because it's not fun. But if you're willing to then go on a journey exploring it and being caring and like, how can I be a good friend? And I started doing weird things. I like said, good morning. I went out of my apartment, good bye. I'll be back later. I had it in front of me. I still have always money in front of me and say, hey, I adore you. Thank you for being in my life. I care for you. I make sure they live in a nice place. I make sure I also have things with me and in my wallet. I make sure I have at home, even if I live in Sweden, I have cash. And I'm joking because most Swedish people don't even know how the bills look anymore because they don't use it. We still have cash, Sweden. Hello. So I joke a lot with Swedish people. This is one thing that Swedish people, I have jokes in for all countries. So my case is a 1,000 kroner bill. Most people don't even think this exists. They don't exist really a lot on the market. It's a real one, huh? And people are like, how can you go around with that? And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I like it. Before it was a 100 euro bill. I changed it once in a while, but it's creating a lot of fun energies. But I also know what bill I cannot put in there. I've looked at every bill that I have, and there's a bill where I'm like, oh, that one I wouldn't put in there. It almost like activates an energy that I do not want to have activated with me. And I was like, that was interesting. So I also look at that and I'm also willing to lose it if that happens. Um, and I'm also willing to receive more of them. So you don't have to always go with the scarcity. You can also be with the other energy. Why wouldn't people just want to gift me money? That doesn't always happen, but why not? How much fun can I have? Can I make business anywhere I am? Would I allow business to show up anytime in my life? So this is where the the questions we can ask are endless. And I want to go into this a lot more. And I see we're over an hour. But the questions so basically in general, I ask questions about who can I connect with, who can I talk to. Then I ask questions that are larger than me to receive more. Uh, I ask questions about being inspired. I look at the things where I can challenge myself, where there could be limitations or judgments or conclusions, to open my energy to possibilities. And that's where people show up in the most random ways in my life, or how I couldn't. But this is also like, and if I have doubts, I look at that. I'm like, I always ask my brain, can you let me know when I'm judging or stopping or destroying my creations? Can you be clear about that? And I wish I could hear every thought I have in my brain. But I also hear, if I hear myself saying something more than 3 times, kind of that thing, I know, wait, here is something I've started convincing myself about. I remember when COVID hit. It was a weird time because my dad got sick again exactly at the same time. After a couple of weeks, my dog died. But before she died, she was very sick for a month. And it doesn't matter. But I kept on hearing myself like things with money, like scarcity things with money. And I was like, and one day I'm like, is that mine? No, I don't have that. It's not real even in my world. My business is going very well, but people were starting to build this mass energy. And I was like, I'm hearing it everywhere, but it's not my world. And I cannot, why should I start having it when it's not real? But that's what our minds do. And if I catch it, I can change it. That's why I want to catch. I can't avoid things to show up, but I can change whatever is there. And I can also commit 100%, be courageous. And for me, courageous sometimes means I'm freaking out. I'm like, that's okay. Rather that than trying to hide and not see you, like, and avoid to choose. And when I choose, I'm committed to my choice, and it can change. But I'm not committed to the result of that particularly thing. So it's a direction that moves, and I'm willing to take on the energies and play with them. And energetically totally open-minded for tons of possibility while committed to the direction I'm going. And in that direction, I'm going to ask so many questions. And this is what I love, training people into the magic. And then there's an energy with that and a trust. And then it's connected to your whole being and to your body and every component of your life. And that I cannot give in an hour. I know that, but I can give an inspiration. And if this helped you in any way, I'm like, yes, I'm happy. And I'm very grateful because today I had a lot of change in me with this guy that I did a session with. And I was like, amazing. It was a very different because I work with him with some health issues that I've had, and it's gotten a lot better. And today it was such an energetic shift. And he asked me the right question. He's like, and he hit really core things. And I was like, he's like, no, you don't have to answer. I'm like, no, let's keep on going. Let's keep on going. This is really, really cool. And then after the session, I was like, well, this is right for today because it made me so clear on the energetic work that I love doing. I love working with bodies. I love shifting energies body. I love working with animals. I love the work with animals and people. Those are like magic, magic, magic. And I can't explain everything beforehand, but I also know that people will know when they choose something. And you'll find the people that will be part of the puzzles along the way in your life. And then I told him because he's like, when you like come again? Because I said, I want to book a session. He often tells me about when. And today was like, And I was like, okay. I'm going to Costa Rica, by the way. And blah. He's like, oh, there's an energy that you'll, and I was like, yeah, I'm going on an inner journey to create even more clarity. And I just know this trip is gonna be amazing. He's like, yes, I know. I want to meet you directly afterwards, I said. So he's like, oh boy. Like it was really fun because what I'm seeing also, the more I know, and I do not know everything that's gonna happen. I know nothing about this trip. I just know that it's this trip and it's now and it's with a person and we're going to meet a lot of other people. And I was like, it's blowing my mind every day, but not in a, and then it feels just so natural. So I forget it sometimes. And I was like, Yeah, we're going. Let's see what happens. And today I was like, I should prepare some things if I am staying longer because I don't know what will happen there. I'll be prepared for everything. And this is the funny part where I just allow a possibility to be there. And things are just getting clearer. So anything you require was not working, or we feel you need more support, or you need more clarity, or you need more inspiration, energy, start asking, because the people or the things will show up if you're willing to allow things to contribute to you. And whatever contribution that is, it might not look like this person, this seminar, whatever, and it might be, but just be open-minded to the universe or the world or your surrounding to contribute with the components of your life journey. Um, that's one thing I see. Don't judge it from your mind. Trust your awareness, trust your intuition, gut feeling. When I work with leaders and companies, they just use other words, but it's the same. It's a lot about awareness. It's a lot about gut feeling. It's a lot about intuition because they usually are really good with their brain, but they get so much information and when they, some of them are really good at trusting and some need some more information, some need some more input. It's amazing to work with people because people know a lot more. And sometimes you don't have the title that you have like, I'm good at this, but you had to still have strengths and abilities that you contribute to this world, and you can make a business out of it if you want to. That I know. The way how to do it will not be clear just sitting down and writing a business plan. You'll need to go into action. You'll need to trust things. You'll need to work with it. You'll need to change things. I've tried so many things just to see where the direction I want to go. And now I'm also question again, how would I like to? Social media is taking off so harshly. And I'm like, yeah, I like social media, but I want to start doing things in a little different way. So what can I do? What can I be? How can I contribute? What can we learn from each other? What can be more clear? And I decided again, I'm going to voice more of the things that I'm very clear with myself, but it doesn't mean it will be clear every freaking day. It's more like, this is where I've learned so much. I've learned a lot through animals, and that's one pause. I need some more animals around. So if you're missing your dog or cat or horse at some point, you might just call me. I might just grabbed it to take for a session. Who knows? I was like, I need more dogs around me. And there's a dog. It's just so funny because I've had a break with a dog, like break without a dog. And 2 years, 3 years ago, a dog came into my life. It was not the right one. And it was funny because, of course, it didn't work out with the prior owner, the breeder, and all that. It was very upsetting experience as well. But it was so clear. It was not the right time. I did it from my head and I did it. I wanted to contribute to my dad, not from the right space of creation. Lately, dogs are showing up. And I was like, no, but I'm going away now. I'm not going to choose a dog now. But they're constantly starting to chat. And I'm like, all of you can come and I'll work with you guys. I'm not going to choose yet this moment, but when they show up, they'll show up. And I know that that's a beautiful thing I know with animals. And I do have some things I want to create with them, but I also know that we can contribute. I don't need to own an animal to work or contribute to animals, and they can contribute to me too. That's another thing I learned. And I also love dogs. So there's going to be another one, or at least one, or maybe more. Who knows? Um, I did tell my friend I'm not sure I want to go to the sanctuary in Costa Rica. They have 12,000 dogs. I'm not sure I can leave there without a dog. So I'm like, I'm not sure we should go there. That's the only thing I'm like, not super sure. Ibtihal, did you have a question?
Yes, hi. When the last lady asked you,
Yeah.
you started talking and you said, "I would go to the future."
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay.
can you talk about
Yes.
this point, please?
Thank you. Yes. Yes. Definitely. So if you look at anything you want to create, you kind of have put it in the future. It's going to be coming up in the future. It's maybe tomorrow and a week and like I want a new job. It's going to be in our version of time, it's in the future. You connect with the job that you would like to have or the business or the whatever it is. Connect with that energy. So you go there to that future point and don't think too much. And when you connect to it, you bring it back to the now. So it's with you now. So you're creating from the now, the future. That's what I do. So you bring it on here. No logic, no, it's super weird. These are the weird parts that where I'm like, yep, needed to start with that today. That works for me very well because I want my creations to be very present with me. And this is things I want to go deeper in other seminars with you guys. And this is where I'm trying to figure out how to do this because I want this to be super alive for everybody that wants it. Because it's not hard, but we need training. And the training creates also security, it creates trust because we all have these things, but bring it into the now, talk with it as if it's with you now. Yeah?
Yeah, great. Can I have another question, please?
Yes, please. Yes, you can.
It's about control. Uh,
Another
I
hour?
really, I discovered, I didn't know that I am that control freak, but
Yeah,
I'm so controlling everything to the amount of survival.
yeah, yeah.
And I want to give that up. I want to give all the barriers down and I want to receive. Can you help me here?
Yeah, that's one is a little bigger topic. I'm not sure I can help you 100%, but get the energy that you can get there 100% yes. I get 100% yes on that. As I'm not this is more like a session energy for me, but control is built up by different things. Like we often have somebody controlling in our, like when we grow up with our parents. And you said a word that gave me a lot of information is the survival. Because control is a very good protection when there's survival energy. So survival energy kicks on, and for example, with due to trauma, it kicks on into you have experienced something where your system goes into survival mode. And control, barriers, protection is part of that survival system. That how to detangle, decode that is very personal. So it can be that we need to look at the moment you let go of your trust, or the moment that was crashed, or the trauma of that, or and there's so many, like it's very broad to see, because there's control that most people I need to work with myself and all my clients, everybody has some sort of control. Some have a lot more, some have less. So it's different energies to work with. And the more you trust yourself with the creations you're doing, sometimes control is really good. So it's not wrong, but often we control so we cannot receive. We control so it doesn't work out. We control and avoid. We control and dismiss. We control and hurt. And also control to prove that it doesn't work. We can destroy things just to feel safe. And that's where I don't know your story enough to work totally with that. That can done in it can be done in a seminar where we have more time. It can be done more, but if you look at wherever you started distrusting your awareness, letting go of the trust that you have had at some point, or where the trauma started, or this is where I'm like, I would have to look with you. Where did trauma, if there was any traumas that showed up, what were the choices you made from that? What does your system need to let go of that and start trusting you and putting down the barriers? And that doesn't occur in 5 seconds, but you'll need also time to be caring to allow that to grow and be strong again. And that can be a couple weeks, couple months, I don't know. And that's the journey, but you need sometimes a little bit like guidance along the way. That's why it's not a 5-minute answer. But look at I would say components: trust, trauma, caring for you. Also, if you're grounded in your body, um, people that have experienced, it can also be like a parent telling you that you cannot do something or saying that you're not good enough. You start creating things where you don't trust yourself. Like this is where I'm hearing, like, I hear a lot of things where I'm like, wow, this is not strange that they're there, but we can change it and we can build it up again. But it sometimes needs time. Because one of the things I also notice, due to the things we built up that are not very nice in our system, we also have starting building up a new relationship to ourselves where we are more loving, caring. Just love yourself. It's such a big topic. But then I can also just sometimes I have to start with kindness, like a bit, 5 minutes more kindness per day can start dissolving a trauma. So whatever your system needs, what do I need today to trust myself more? What can I do today to care more for myself? Body or soul or being? What's required of me today? How can we build up our trust? And just sometimes also physically care for your body to be more present with it can build up an energy. So this is where there's like there's so many tools to work with to care more for you, to build it up, because control also has a protection. And I don't always fight the control. I look at where can we grow something, then the control and survival will also let go because they do have a job. And we can say, used to say, yeah, but we can just fire you. Yeah, it can be, but tomorrow it might be there again because we didn't build up anything yet. So I've learned through a lot of things and also working with trauma and people's issues, there's a kindness, there's a depth, there's a stability that sometimes you take away something and the person cannot figure it out anymore. So just taking away control might not be the place or the right step. So that's why I'm like trying, there's so many ways of looking at this. You can go out and hug a tree and it might help dissolving. Or for me, it's like, give me a dog and my system will melt. That's like this is where it can be so different. Animals do help I would say in general, animals in nature are very, very good healers. If we don't have a better way, that is definitely helps our nervous system, helps us land. They know what to do with us, and you can just ask them, and they'll be there. So that's where I'm like, it's a big question. I love your question because it's a very caring question to have in your world. Do not stop asking for that change and be kind while you're asking it. Yeah?
Yeah, really, thank you. You gave me a different perspective about it because it's the thing that you said, it's about the protection.
Yeah.
And when the subject of autonomy came up, it's autonomy is also about the protection
Yeah.
because being a human aid in this reality
Yeah.
and so aware, it means you are going to be maybe abused, maybe different things.
Yes.
So really, thank you. Can
Yeah.
we have another seminar or something about it?
Yeah, I'm gonna do something where it's a little longer. Like it's a little bit of a seminar where this is where I'm gonna within a week I'll send out something where you can join for 2, 3 weeks where we can go deeper with these things and work with that energetically. I'm just trying to set it up again how I would like to work with this because I know there's so many possibilities and having these conversation and then specifically going to people's worlds and look at them because we have similar things, just different components. Control and trauma, they're so tight and it's tough just to say, hey, just let go. I'll just clear the control. I'm like, yeah, but it has also a function. You might want to look at that as well to be kind to yourself. And one thing that I also saw, the more I got stronger within, the less I needed it. That's also like, there's so much. I will work on it. This is within a week, I'll have something. That's why I'm like, also talking to you guys gives me a lot of awareness what we can do and yeah, so much. I just want to have you all here. I'd like, can you give me a whole farm with animals and I'll invite you all there and we're gonna heal the shit out of us. Like this is where I'm like, what else? And then I'm asking the animals too. I'm like, what else can we do with people and create? And so one of the things I'm looking at personally in my life, if I want to have a place, most likely not in Sweden, kind of farmish where I have animals that maybe need a house, home, or rescue animals. Help them also to heal people. And then if they connect with the person, they can go home with them. So that's one energy I'm looking at. I was like, I might want to go that way again. Like, this is things where there's so much we can create on this planet. Um, today I was telling somebody else, like a friend, and she was like, "Oh, I need to look deeper into what the problem." No, you put your energy in where you want to create. That will go away. Sometimes we dig too much in our problems or the limitations instead of going to create, nurture the things that we can create. Because sometimes things need different approaches. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, I will have something very soon. It's getting clearer. This is also helpful for me. That's why I'm also doing it, because I need to talk to people and see what are the components I would like to care and contribute with. Because I've been coaching in all areas of life basically for the last 20 years, and I love them all. But then also, what's my essence that I want to do now? Polly, thank you. Some great questions for me to ask myself, and I hope there is a recording as I missed the first 20 minutes, but I have to go now. I'm in your Facebook group, so we'll see if yes, I'm going to even send it out via email, and yes, I'll post it. I have a Facebook group that I do a little bit more personal stuff in, and I usually put the recordings quicker in there, and then I send them out. So it's yeah, if you ever need that group, let me know. You can go in and out of it. I just have a platform that is a bit more intimate. I am more open there. So people that have that interest, they can listen there. And I do more Facebook Lives. And next week I will be doing some fun stuff in there. That's one thing. I want to play with some things that I'm working with animals and bodies. So it's gonna be playful, but you're welcome to join at any time. I'll send out also the recordings to all of you guys. And if in English. Yeah, I do both, as you have noticed. In this group, it's German and English. So it's true. If I do it in English, the Germans say something. If I do it in German, English people. It's playful, so I do both languages. That's one of the weird things with me. But I'm also going to do seminars in only English. I did German for a while, and I specifically also did it because I was a lot in Germany due to my dad. He was living in Germany when he was very sick. So I stopped doing so much in English, and I went into the German world. Now, both. I'm gonna do both. So yeah, thank you for today, and thank you for your beautiful energy. This was I love this. Thank you so much, Lisen, for all the input you gave us today and so many great questions you can play in our lives. Cool. Thank you. Um, I'm I'm really grateful. It's been working with me all day in the last couple of days. So thanks for your input. And this is where when we co-create, when we show up for a creation, our energies start creating together. It's not logical. We don't know what. And that's where like what contribution can I be to you guys? What can I contribute? This is where like that energy starts flowing. And that's why I'm like contribution we can all be to each other, no matter who is sitting and talking. And that's the beauty of being on this planet together now. And I was like, let's go for it. Let's create the world we want to create for us. The outer world will maybe not be the same, but if I feel great and I'm good and my body is good and my mind is better. I mean, I have days like I don't want to do anything. And I'm like, is it time to change? Yes. And one thing that works really well for me is dancing. I dance 5 minutes and then I'm like, oh God, that was easy to change my energy. And then or I go out for a walk and I'm like, I don't want to go out. Like I don't like walks as much without dogs. I love them with dogs, but I still go out because I know it's good for me and it helps because I ask a lot of questions. I've been trained myself for years. Every time I go for a walk, I wonder. I start asking questions about anything. So my system is very, very well trained with that. So it just automatically comes. But if I'm in a destruction mode, I don't want to go out. We are so funny. I am funny too. So this is where we can change things. But dancing is one of the things that helped me a lot. And then just like any music that is fun. There's energy and vibration and everything, and our body's full of vibrations and energy. So let's make sure this energy changes and shifts enough. I know. So, for example, I have a client that I coach for a longer time. She's brilliant. She has so much energy, ADHD, Asperger, every freaking thing. So, whatever she chooses, it's very alive. Destruction, creation. One of the jobs I know I have with her, because she's one of those clients that I have VIP clients, I work with her almost daily. One of my jobs is to contribute to her energy being more, not even balanced, but her joy. Because when she's joyful, she's freaking energetically brilliant. Like she's amazing. But when she goes the other way, it's as amazing, but not in a, it's not so yummy. But that's one of the things I like. That's the energy. And that's every one of us. If we create more joy, we know things work better. We do. But it's not always very joyful looking outside and like going out. And so that's where I'm like, let's put that in there. But I also know the world is wanting to contribute to us. So a little namaste. And thank you for today. And let's keep on doing things. And there will be more creations. And there's things in the pipeline with different components, with different topics. And I landed in myself and just want to create a lot more now. So it's like, hello, good evening, good night, and enjoy it. And see you soon again. And if there's any questions along the way, you can always send me a question and I'll see if I can contribute to you. Yeah. Lots of kisses. Bye. Arrivederci. Bye bye. Ciao. Gute Nacht. Bye, guys.